Okay, so when it cut off, where did it cut me off? We've got possibly Pluto energy here with death, right? Squaring off against you. Of course, you carry Saturn and Uranus energy. So your uniqueness, your what makes you stand out, what can be completely difficult to reconcile, but has to be reconciled in order for you to really thrive. Or to do, I've been working a lot on Malcolm X stuff lately, the last few days. And you know, I think a point that we need to remember almost every day is to ask, did Malcolm do what Malcolm was supposed to do with his life? And I think we'd be very hard pressed to say that he didn't do what he should do with his life. And at the very end, he outed the Masons that fund the Nation of Islam, that and a white man, a white Texas oil tycoon, Hunt, in particular. But yes, and now it's all public knowledge on the internet. The connections between Nation of Islam and Masons and Shriners. So Malcolm did what he should with his life for the betterment of all, whether or not the all do anything with what he did. But he did end up with everything basically stripped from him, and then he ended up dead. So I think the idea of doing what we're supposed to be doing and also reaping rewards for it are not always congruent. Yeah. I'm not saying we all need to go get ourselves shot, but maybe not far from it. So this is a lot coming just from these 4 cards here. So 4 cards of stability. But these 2 things need to be reconciled. They need to work together. What does that mean? Faith. You did your part. Somebody else has to do their part. You're waiting for your ships to come in. There's distance in this card. I'll see if there's one more tarot, but I expect we're going... Okay, it's jumping in the same... Oh, 2. Nice. Smooth. Sagittarius and Gemini for me. Others would put this as Libra, but for me it's Gemini. 3rd house. What was I saying about where your 3rd house is and what you know and how you think? A decision needs to be made about something that you're not used to making a decision about. Something new. Something new because Sagittarius energy here. There's completion. Look at that blue energy. The distant lands behind her. Crescent moon. So, lunar eclipse. Okay. Here we get into lunar eclipse activity. Decision. Ninth house. Journeys. Long journey. Okay. Well, let's get into these cards. Let's save the simple ones for last, so we end up with fairly clear energy. Let's do a little wagering here. Let's find out which one of these we should read for. Okay, let's do that right now. I'll pick a card that can fly anywhere. So let's just see. We'll still consider the others, but we're going to prioritize. Yes. At least that's what I'm trying to do here. I might have to make an executive decision, and maybe that's part of the message to you. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to give up. That didn't help. It's touching. It's touching this one. I've got a 7 of Pentacles, transformation squaring off, but it's pointing to this one. Okay. Well, I've already explained this one a bit, so we're going to go to that one. This one, absolutely Egyptian. What did I say? Yes. Kemet. Okay, so 2 Africa cards. 2 Africa cards. Oh, another 7. Okay. What can I say about Shiva? I'm going to make sure that that's... I do believe that that's Shiva. Because I did. I'll make sure I'm speaking correctly. And I do a lot. Yep. Destructive and creative powers. Okay. Now he, see, I've got my Kali right here, and Kali is the one who appeared to me. He's like trying to, he does try to get Kali to, he succeeds in getting her to stop killing everybody. It's because she goes on a bit of a, well, she has to. Okay, so let's read for this one. But I'll keep these where you can look at them while I'm going to bring this card up to the camera. But let's find out what it is. Actually, yes, I'm going to switch around. The other times I've been reading Mel's cards first, but let's get Susan's done. Okay, just for a moment, I want to show you how Susan set this up. Susan passed over April 19th this past year, leaving behind her 22-year-old daughter, who might be 23 by now, but I'm sure she's staying close to her. But actually, I found out several months later that she had passed when I went looking for her website. And it turns out from my journal that the day she died, or passed, I should say, I don't think death is exactly the right word. Somebody came to me in a lucid dream, dressed all in white feathers, and relieved me of a great deal of stress that day. So those two things will always be connected for me. But here's how she does a layout. Planetary positions, okay? So just give you an idea there. The usual. And then I have my shorthand for what they mean. But then I'll hold the card up. We are dealing with the first card of the deck. So that in itself is a message that we're focusing on a beginning here. And let's just, it's a Zen Buddhist. Yeah, I should have known that. Okay. In the sun position, which would be your instincts and triggers, your thoughts and feelings are now turned inward. There's a focus on self, but not in a selfish way. You've embarked on a tedious and challenging journey, one that's most concerned with unraveling the mystery of the human soul. You are projecting an image which appears serene and detached, perhaps even a little distant. Okay, there, we're going with the distance there. Your sensitivity is heightened. Be careful how you approach others now. Your intentions may be misunderstood unless you make yourself very clear from the start. Right. Okay. So the triggers, watch the triggers around that. Allow that you're in the state that you're in. In the moon position, which I put as conscience, this card indicates that the soul is radiating a desire not to be owned or intimately involved. Reality may be pushed aside for the temporary relief of an elusive dream. There's a cool, distant feeling, but also a sense of mystery and intrigue. This position stresses that being completely honest with yourself right now is of the utmost importance. You may not be viewing your life with enough clarity or detachment. Oh, interesting. So even though there's distance, there might not be enough detachment. It might be too emotionally charged. Okay, well, let's check your third house, your Mercury. Your mind is on its most inspired wavelength right now. It's time to formulate spiritual insights and flights of inspiration into something tangible. You may rediscover literary talents and even psychic abilities. Speech and the written word become inspired revelations. Others will call upon your masterful insights. Try not to become tangled up in obscure, fanciful, or opaque thoughts. Be clear. Okay. So that's, we have that Queen of Cups, that Pisces energy working her way. And I'm just wondering about those 10 wands and the 2 of swords. Okay. Wands are all about your inner fire, your inner trajectory. Yes, they, it's a lot of obligations and responsibilities, but if you really look at what Wands energy means, and what those houses represent, there's a tremendous amount of personal interest involved in those. The thing that keeps you motivated. And there can be a lot of things. In the Venus position, so for Venus for me is like your attractions, your appetites, negotiating what you need for yourself, knowing what you need for yourself. All right, so your gift to the world is peace and light. However, in romantic relationships, you're far too passive. You take the path of least resistance and tend to look for a partner to define your personality. Oh, harsh. Few trustworthy or worthwhile people enjoy having that much control over another person. If you continue to cling, you may have to face the possibility of rejection in the future. The Zen Buddhist card in the Venus position urges you to take a stand in your relationships. Although you generate an especially compassionate energy, you also must learn to ask for or even demand love and respect in return. So who's been gaslighting and plowing you under, eh? Is that what the 2 of Swords and the 10 of Wands is something about? Yeah? Let's go to the Saturn position, which for me, Saturn's all about fears, boundaries, and calculated risks. Now is the time to cut through your illusions and delusional beliefs. It's important to become involved directly with the physical world in order to formulate your important goals. Your inner life is cultivated and rich, but there's a tendency for you to ignore immediate visceral experiences. Your gift is compassion and calm. Your temptation is to be passive when action is required. Ouch. Again, so passivity is losing things for you. Okay. Let's see here. In the Uranus position, one of your main ruler. This card choice, well, Saturn was one of your main rulers as well. What am I saying? One of your 2 rulers. Okay. This card choice represents the conflict between wanting to merge with others and wanting to break free from convention. Your spiritual beliefs are your own, and you'd rather not subscribe to any particular dogma. This card position indicates you may have difficulty standing up for what you believe. You tend to wish that problems would fade away, but just the opposite happens. It's important that you confront things directly and nip problems in the bud before they get out of hand. Okay. She says Uranus is how you can awaken the genius of your true potential. What makes you unique and sets you apart from others? How can you learn to integrate your talents and gifts through knowing others? What kind of friend are you? Wanting to merge with others and wanting to break free from convention. That conflict. May have a difficulty standing up for what you believe. And you have to stand up for what you believe. The question is how? And that's your Two of Swords. Because Sagittarius is all about belief, faith, knowing what you believe. Finally, in the Pluto position, this card choice represents a vague and somewhat disturbing transition. Yeah, okay. You've got those 7s and the 3 8s. You could fall under the influence of someone with the potential to affect your sense of well-being. Be wary of people who seem too good to be true. They probably are. Turn inward and discover your own hidden resources. Be prepared for a change that could shock you into a new level of awareness. You will look back on this time as crucial to your development. Absorb as much knowledge as you can in preparation for challenges that will come in the near future. Yay! That sounds like a good time. Change that could shock you into a new level of awareness. Well, okay, so the change that we have with the coffin reversed, the ship, how many other things? The storks, the change, the movement that's on its way. Yes, it's in progress. Okay. Well, let's see what else we've got to go. Right, because that 3 of Wands that needs to succeed with the movement, yes, and these. So the 3 of Wands in the same direction as the 2 and the 10. Yes, okay. All right, so we have these cards to get through. We have achievement and return to country. Start with achievement, and here's the book for it. Yeah. Get it in the shot. Okay. Achievement is the sense of knowing you have completed something you deemed is worthy of recognition. Many times we fail to recognize the significance of our achievements, and it's often left to others to remind us of what we have accomplished. To recognize an achievement, you must first look inwards and acknowledge you have excelled and completed the task. Learn to recognize what your achievements are, and then acknowledge and celebrate them. It's not egotistical to celebrate your wins, provided you remain humble in the knowledge you have also learned some lessons along the way. You're in the final stages of completing a major milestone in your life. You haven't quite reached the finish line yet. Here we go. Yes, 10 of Wands. But it's in sight. You'll get there quicker than you anticipate, which will put you into a spin. Okay, and we have, okay, that's what's going on there. Okay. You've been seeing this finish line in the distance for so long you never really considered what you would do once you get there. Okay, thank you for that. When you do cross the line, it will be the end of an era and the start of a new one. Embarking on a new era can be daunting, but can also be filled with endless opportunities to recreate and reinvent yourself. Before you start the final dash to the finish line, think about what you want next in life. So when they're talking about being passive, when Susan's talking about being passive for her, through her cards, who's speaking through them, this is where the rubber hits the road, perhaps, with being passive about what comes next instead of sitting down and saying, what do you want? When you step up to the winner's circle, have a clear direction where you want to go next and how you want your life to be. Even if that's completely within God's will and you submit your will to God's will, have a conversation with God about what the next stage looks like. Yes? Be on this, you know, start to be proactive together rather than just, perhaps that's what they're talking about when they're saying, when Susan's card was talking about somebody doesn't want to be completely responsible for what you do all the time. I know I tend to err on the side of being overly obedient to God, and maybe I need to, maybe what's coming for you is a graduation from waiting on that with the Three of Wands. Yes? Interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know to say more than that, you know, like I think it matters to say that much, but I'm not sure that I wouldn't be over speaking and starting to talk out my ass. Return to country. Returning to country is when Aboriginal people return to where they were born and where their family's spiritual links are. It's often a wondrous event filled with joy, love, and friendship from family. However, for those who return to a country in which they've been limited, or they've had limited or no connection, there's that connectivity. It can be a difficult journey to undertake. Return to country is a journey that exceeds the limits of time, and it's a spiritual journey returning our people to their dreaming. It's a time to look backward and search for who you are. It's a time to explore and challenge your history. It can at times be painful. However, trust in the universe that it's your time to reclaim who you are and redefine your identity. Issues that have affected you, so what, like I was thinking, right? If I was saying, if this has been a long-term situation that's affected you. Yes? Issues that have affected you in the past have shaped who you are today. Sometimes we change our outlook on life by looking back, seeing things for what they were, and valuing the lessons and wisdom we've learnt because of our experiences. It's time to let go of the power that past events have on you and embrace the future that only you can now control. She does like, Mel does like people. She does a lot of healing work. She's won awards for it. So her emphasis is going to be on accountability. And I'll tell you, her ancestors are merciless in the most loving way. So, now what they'd have to say about what the demons do to us. Well, they're not paying attention to that right now, are they? Okay. So, let's check these two doors. Actually, yep, I've got them in my hand. Okay. Now, remembering the first door was, that moon. Draw down the moon and we have that lunar eclipse happening, right? Where did we put the lunar eclipse? Yeah, in the Two of Swords, right? The moon. So you know, the moon is your conscience, yeah? In your deep knowing, your high priestess. Oh, we've got numbers in doubles. Which one is this again? Right, okay. Two doors. And one door shut. Numbers and doubles. Synchronicity in 2. Don't hold back your love now. Life is meant for you. And of course, we just passed November 11th. Synchronicity in 2. So, twin flame. Well, so far as my readings for the past year have gone, Aquarius has been in a huge twin flame journey that have come through in my readings. Nomad. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside, so take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. And that's why, even if it was my subconscious going with this card and saying, well, the 7's pointing to it, even though it's touching the other card. Can't really always go wrong, can we? Okay. Take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. So there's timing to that. But whether you initiate or an opportunity comes, let's just remind ourselves of what, because you're stuck. You're stuck, remember? Growing towards rebirth, right. Yeah, that's just going to be, been through that more than once. Okay. Brightness of your future. Listen to your discontent. Okay. Your yearning. So those 5 of Cups reversed. Yes. You want something true. You should not just be quiet and get back to your day job or how things have been as if you're making a drama out of nothing. You're meant to be moved by these feelings, to become more alive. Trust in the brightness of what is meant to be. Now the question is, what is meant to be? What's coming down the pipe? But we said we had these 7 wands here. This is not new. Nothing new is coming. You've had the affirmation. This is transformation. Caterpillar transformation. 7 transformation. The thing that you most are deep down inside. That's what this is, Aquarius. I think the idea that there isn't what do I want to say? It's not that Aquarians don't get down and dirty. No, it's getting back in the ring. But which ring and how? That's the thing, right? But is your thing ready? Are you ready with or you're finishing up? You're at towards the end of the long journey. So no, it's not ready yet, right? You're finishing it up. And before you finish it up, yes, take stock so that you send it in the right direction. I'm not talking about law of attraction. I'm just talking about removing, well, exactly like Susan was talking about in passivity, right? Make sure that it's not, you're not just finishing and then putting it out there and not steering it because you're exhausted. Or you're going to use God as the excuse and you're going to say, okay, you know what? I've done my part, and because if I go through my thoughts lately, this is, to be honest, it's what I've been thinking. It's like, okay, I can finish it. I'll put it out there. I don't have a way to get it around right now. But as long as I finish it, then the rest, I can't decide what happens with the rest. And that's the attitude I've been carrying. Though I know better, of course, right? But that's just how heavy the whole thing's got. So you have to say, no, I'm going to rest. And this is what I'm going to do with it. Even if I can't decide now, or you can't decide now, you know that you're going to take time. Once you're done, you're going to take time to decide, right? First you get it done. The Capricorn effort, yes. First you get up the mountain, then you sit at the top of the mountain and go, okay, now what? And be deliberate about it. Yes, not passive. I think that's the clarity I can get for you here from all of this, to pull it all together. So I hope that helps you, Aquarius, for the lunar eclipse coming up, or however much longer after that. But definitely huge stuff here. Okay, much love. I'll be back soon.